Hey everybody, NFT fans, welcome back to the ENVELOP Podcast. I'm your host, Using Crypto MC, and I'm here today with a blockchain lady. She's Adriana Hoppenbrouwer-Pereira. She's the co-founder and commercial director of the Fabricant. This is a digital fashion house leading the fashion industry towards a new sector of digital-only clothing. They create intriguing and seductive 3D fashion narratives and experiences, which are also NFTs. Adriana also is the speaker of upcoming CGC 9th conference in September 23rd, 24th. She'll be discussing the fashion role in the Metaverse narrative. In a panel, I already foresee this is going to be an extremely interesting podcast because this is a unique use case of NFT you may never have heard of. So, Adriana, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Gene. Very happy to be here.
I always prefer to start with the personal story of my speaker in crypto. Tell us, please, how did you get into the blockchain space? What were your main incentives?
Yeah, very good question. I think the main incentive is it's really like a bit of hippie, I guess, creating a decentralized world. We just love that concept that we're able to give the power back to the creators and truly create something that is bigger than ourselves. Like if we're building, we talk a lot about it internally. If we're building a fashion house today and you would use the Web 2.0 models, you would need to acquire and contract designers and build an empire like LVMH. But why do that? Why not actually create a modern digital cooperative where we can actually be equitable and everybody that is in has the incentive to help each other? And we really believe that that's the model. And right now already there are more naked avatars out there than clothes. So why bother creating a label? Let's create a bloody decentralized digital fashion house. Definitely. And that is what we set ourselves to do.
You are exploring a frontier in fashion where no one big players are. And you becoming the big player. Okay, got it. How did you get the first exposure, your first personal exposure with NFTs? And how do you explain, especially for non-crypto people, what is NFT?
Yeah, good question as well. So our first experience with NFTs was back in 2019 when we created a digital dress. It was the first digital dress in NFT form together with Dapper Labs. And I must say, I think we kind of, even us, we didn't quite understand what it was. And it was auctioned in a crypto conference. And back then it was auctioned for 54 Ether, which was just below $10,000. And we were like really flabbergasted that somebody bought our dress for $10,000, right? Well, right now it would be much more, of course, but it was shocking. And we continued the conversation with the team of Dapper Labs. Back then, they were really famous for crypto kitties, which again, fascinating case, very intriguing. We're trying to put our heads around on how could we create something like that for fashion. And then we kind of had the feeling that the world was not quite ready for that. So we continued doing digital fashion, but we felt like, well, NFTs will come, but it feels maybe a bit too early. And then, 1 year later, we were doing drops on NFTs because the world had caught up, and even we were even like, oh wow, we should have continued because things accelerated and came much faster. And I think when I explain what an NFT is the ability, of course, it's a digital asset. It's a digital asset that has a clear owner, that has a clear contract. And I think it's the ability to, again, give the power back to the creators and to truly transform the way digital monetization and digital creativity has been dealt in Web 2.0. And the example I give to my mom is, well, right now you're in this restaurant, you're taking a picture of this meal and you're tagging the restaurant, right? You became a photographer. And your picture is being used by Instagram to earn money. But you never, you're not earning any money, and you are the photographer. And that is what the NFTs, and that's what Web 3.0 will do for all of us, is at the moment that you are a creator, you can earn to be a creator. You can be recognized to be the photographer. And if anybody, whether it's Instagram or whoever, wants to use that picture, you may, but then you need to minimum recognize that I'm the creator. And even better if you pay me, right? I decide. And I think that is the beauty of the world we are in. It's again, is enabling new business models, is enabling decentralization, but is enabling people to be recognized and valued by their creativity. And when we talk about it, we are all creators. And that is the beauty. When you talk to young millennials and Gen Z, especially what we call the digital sapiens, which were born in the digital world, they love to create. The model of consumption, just pushing stuff for us to consume is not fitting them anymore. And again, I think we're coming into that era where all these trends are coming together, and we deliberately at the Fabricant, we don't call anybody consumers. I think that's the biggest offense we can give to anybody these days. Like, we don't want to consume, we want to create. And the brands that are going to be successful and the entities that are going to be successful are the ones that enable that creativity. And we want to be that in the fashion world. We want to enable everybody to be a fashion creator.
Excellent, fascinating. I'm super excited. So how did you find what is digital fashion and how is it differ from physical, I would say, fashion?
So I'll quote our creative director, one of the founders of the Fabricant, and because I think it's a beautiful explanation of the difference. We buy fashion for two reasons. One, to protect our bodies. That's a physical need, right? But we truly buy fashion to express our identity. And when our identities are being expressed in the digital world, we don't need physical fashion. In her vision, which is our vision that we embraced, in a few years from now, we will have one piece of physical clothing, which is a thermal-controlled suit, and all the identity-defining pieces, which is the biggest majority of our wardrobe, of course, are going to be augmented, are going to be digital. And we are setting up a business for that. Since 2018, that has been the story we tell since 2018 is exactly this story. Now, back then, very few people understood it. Today, many more people understand it, but we see it materializing more and more. We are going to that direction where we'll be spending more money and time with our digital wardrobes than with our physical wardrobes.
You have already told about, repeat again, please. How did the idea of the Fabricant come, and how to explain what is a digital fashion house, what it does?
Yeah, so the idea came exactly from again, Amber's vision, our creative director, who met Carrie, who is our creative technologist, who met me, who is a business person, and the three of us started in this journey to create a new sector of digital fashion that is more sustainable. Sustainability has been always a big driver for us. That is more creative because there are no boundaries of creativity, and is more equitable. Then the value can be better divided across the entire chain. And we called ourselves a digital fashion house because that was the ambition. And the more we delved into the concept of a digital fashion house, and I think the most famous fashion house in the physical world is LVMH. And we looked at that model and we said, okay, yes, we could create several labels and put a lot of designers to work for us. But that's not the world we want to create. We want something that's more equitable. And that is when the digital fashion house concept evolved into a decentralized digital fashion house, which is exactly what we're building now, is a decentralized fashion house built in blockchain and integrated in the Metaverse. And the first step of this journey, which is a big ambition, but the first step was set 3 weeks ago when we launched the Fabricant Studio. And the Fabricant Studio is a place where you can come in and there are ingredients to make fashion designs, and anybody can make a fashion design with all the ingredients, and all the creators involved in that co-creation are acknowledged and receive a share of that NFT sale when it becomes a sale, right? And the intention and the ambition is to be able to be a place where you can create, where you can trade, and you can wear in the Metaverse. So interoperability is a big thing in our roadmap as well. And right now we call it Season 0, is the nascence of the Fabricant Studio. We are integrating with Sandbox. We're integrating with Unreal Engine Marketplace to, again, generate the economy for the creators. And we are working hard with other integration partners so that, is a concept that when you buy an NFT, you can also wear in different metaverse. We want to be context agnostic in that sense. So we want to be the place that you come to create your fashion, to create your wardrobe, but wear anywhere in the metaverse.
How would you answer on the following question? Is digital fashion more about design or more about blockchain or maybe more about creation and people?
I think blockchain is an enabler. I think right now hashtag NFT gets a lot of reviews, but I hope it's going to disappear very soon. And it's just going to be like just the way, right? Just like we don't talk about HTML because it's the way web is created.
Right.
So it's absolutely not blockchain. And for us, maybe it's none of the terms you use is more about the ability to create and curate your identity, who you want to be, right? That's what fashion is all about. And I think in the digital realm, identity has no limitations. So I can identify myself one day as a dinosaur in the metaverse because I'm having a bad day, right? And that will be my identity. Or I can be a guy, or I can be, I don't know, blonde. And fashion will be part of that storytelling, right? When we dress ourselves, we're telling a story. We're telling a story every day about our identity in that day. We're curating it every day. And the digital space will just allow for even richer narratives where we will create wardrobes that are going to be unlimited.
I would love to ask you about the proven use cases of using digital fashion you have already observed. How digital fashion is used now, gaming metaverses. Tell us, please.
Yeah. So I think the easiest use case to see, because it already happens, of course, in gaming. There is already a whole ecosystem of game like Fortnite, of course, the best example where 65% of the revenue is skins, which is actually clothes. It's just a closed environment where there is no equitability. So if you own, you can't resell. And I think that is where the model should evolve to. Again, we are partnering with Sandbox, which is another metaverse in the makes. We did a drop yesterday with this weekend with Star Atlas, which is also a blockchain gaming metaverse. It's a beautiful project we absolutely love. And I think all these examples have the same. You have a context, you have an avatar, which is part of your identity, and you dress to finalize your story, right? That is one aspect. The other aspect that we also strongly believe is fashion is also about belonging, right? Why do we want to create identities? Because we want to belong. I dress in a certain way to appeal to certain people to be part of the same club. And I think that aspect you see right now in a lot of the avatar projects that exist in crypto are actually, there is speculation, but it's more about the belonging that is mattering. Somebody that owns a CryptoPunk right now, even if it's super expensive, they don't want to sell because it's like it's having a red Porsche in front of your house, right? it's like status, but it's also community, and the community is going to grow in value because it's a community. Things are going to be built for the CryptoPunks community, right? And I think there is beauty in that as well, is the belonging, that's my style, that's my choice, and therefore I belong to a certain club. And finally, the last one is it is speculation, it is collection and speculation. We have been doing drops since 2019, as I mentioned. And right now, it did become a big part of our revenue this year, the NFT drops. And we hope that the owners of those drops actually will also have equity being transferred as they resell them, and that they ultimately see it as a valuable investment as well. And as it moves forward, the three aspects will continue to be important, which is the ability to monetize, create, trade, buy, sell will remain. the ability to define your identity and create your wardrobe will remain, and the ability to belong to a certain tribe will remain. So social, creative, and monetary.
Yeah, I got you. So we do all to understand how to go to the shop and to buy, let's say, a suit or jacket. Now, the question is how to buy a digital fashion jacket suit. How do you call that?
Units. That's all right. Right now, you would find our items in OpenSea. You would find in NFT marketplace, right? You would find in games. But we strongly believe that there will be a moment that every brand will have an option. Do you want it physical or do you want it digital? And that is also like the way we educate a lot the fashion system, because we want the fashion system to transit into the digital sector, because again, it's more sustainable, it's actually more profitable. It allows for different business models, it allows for different interactions. So we also work with brands creating drops and kind of even just helping them on their strategy. That's anyway how even the business model of the Fabricant started, was as a B2B service house, and now we're more and more evolving to a full digital only fashion house. So I strongly believe that there will be a moment that every single brand will offer, do you want it physical or do you want it digital?
As on a physical fashion industry, because a lot of collaborations, who you've already been collaborating? I mean, brands, game studios, designers, or you wish to collaborate, and who are your customers? What's your business model? I still have no clear understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we collaborated with quite a few brands, as you would call, like the physical brands. So we did in the digital drops, we did with Adidas, we did the digital drop with Buffalo London, we did the digital drop with a Sony Music artist. So it's also like a melting pot of culture as well, like art, music, fashion have always worked together. And that's the same, I would say, ecosystem that's been built now in the digital space. And then we also collaborate with digital native artists, with brands like Artifact. So we just did a beautiful drop with Ruby Gloom, which is a digital avatar celebrity. Who are the customers? Again, they're either buying it because they want to collect very special items which have artistic value as well as fashion value. They are people that might be buying it for future utility. That's the drop of Star Atlas. So the game is being built and you can wear it. And there are drops that are coming that will have more the social component as the trigger. So we are working now on a drop with a gaming community, which has more of it's a badge of honor to own it. I belong to a certain group because I have this NFT.
Let's imagine if I have loved a special digital fashion item, is it possible to buy somewhere physical twin of this, let's say, digital suit I've loved?
Yeah, not with us. But yeah, there will be models like that for sure, and they have validity. But we set ourselves to really develop and lead the digital only fashion space, and goes back to the ethos of the brands. We really believe that it's more sustainable, more active, more creative, and therefore we only do digital, never physical. But there are the players, and there will be brand collaborations from other people that will certainly have a physical aspect and is valid. It's just not what we do.
Rarity. If something exists in digital shape, it cannot exist in physical shape. I've got an idea, right? What technical infrastructure for NFT turnover do you use? Blockchains, wallets, you said OpenSea and so on for?
Yeah, so we built the Fabricant Studio, which is kind of really how we're going to build the Fashion House 3.0 and very much our roadmap. We build it on Flow. And because it's a sustainable chain, and because we really believe also in the team and the roadmap and again the merge of culture, entertainment, and fashion together. So up until now, our drops have been also in different marketplaces depending on the context. but yeah, I would say that that Flow is our blockchain infrastructure for the creation of the items. We actually have fashion designers in-house, and that's why we kind of, I guess, our signature is very high quality, very high fashion, because they are all kind of from fashion schools, and we use Clo 3D as the software to design the items, and then from Clo 3D we move into 3D software and ultimately into Unreal Engine for the more real-time experience.
Have I understood you correctly that you are working also with designers in-house and independent designers?
We have our own team. Yes, we have our own team of designers, and we also work with independent designers. And in the Fabricant studio, the intention is to onboard independent designers so that they can create their own labels in the metaverse.
Gotcha. Are you hiring the Fabricant? Is it hiring now?
Yes, we are hiring. Please help us.
Whom are you hiring? Whom do you need? Make
oh my God,
all the call to actions here.
Okay, we need the product developers, we need the Unreal developers, we need the gaming designer, we need DeFi, as we have our own token and we're evolving also a token roadmap. We need growth marketeers. Let me think, what else is the top line? I think these are probably like our most urgent hires. We anybody that loves this space, community managers as well, we welcome.
Yeah, how to reach you for potential applicants? To write you on LinkedIn or how to
Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook.
Anyway, any possible way.
Any social channel, but probably the easiest is in the fabricant.com. Work at the Fabricant. There is a link to our recruitment platform.
Excellent. How do you see the future of digital fashion in, let's say, upcoming 10 years?
The future is we're going to have a bigger digital wardrobe than our physical one, and our identities are going to be augmented. That's it.
Yeah. How to follow you personally on the internet?
Twitter, Adriana Hoppenbrouwer #1, something like this. I don't know. So, or at the Fabricant, of course, and LinkedIn. You can follow me. These are probably the two most active personal platforms, and I'm in Discord, the Fabricant Discord. I'm one of the moderators. I'm there every time, every day. You can tag me there as well. DM me. Pleasure to talk.
I will remind to our viewers, listeners, that you will be speaking or discussing the panel discussion on CGC NAT conference in September 23rd, 24th. Your panel will be 24th. The fashion role in the metaverse narrative. What are your expectations from the CGC event, from this panel, and whom will you recommend to join this event to listen to you and to other brilliant speakers of the event?
Yeah, so I guess my expectation that we dive more together into the build of digital identities and this kind of the concept of co-creating the metaverse. I think, again, the metaverse is a big word. Once Mark Zuckerberg started talking about it, now everybody is awake. But actually, from our point of view, we love the idea to keep it decentralized and to co-create together and create partnerships to foster these new economies. And that is for us super important. So we love talking to all the projects that are building avatars, all the projects that are building communities, all the projects that are building digital fashion as well. It is such a new, wide space, blue ocean. We sometimes people say, "What's your competitor?" We say, like, honestly, guys, we are all colleagues. Let's collaborate. There is much more to collaborating and creating this together. There is no point in competing.
Yeah, one bonus question. What are your favorite learning resources about NFTs, crypto you would recommend to our listeners to touch NFT for newcomers especially?
I like very much the Defiant, which is, the podcast series.
Because of the host, she's lady too.
Yeah, well, I love Robin videos. They are hilarious and super well produced. And I love the podcast host as well. And the female touch into a very male blockchain space is always charming, I find. And then From Twitter, I really like Jeff Sloss from Seeds. What's the name? Is just like DAO. His topic is on DAO, and I learned so much from him on DAOs. And let me think. Yeah, I would say probably top of mind. I'm very bad in names, but I follow so many people these days. And certainly Twitter is the rabbit hole to get to understand it.
The professional question, as a podcaster, I want to ask you, did not you consider to run your own podcast? Because your voice is 100% fit to the podcaster. It's extremely interesting. You will have fans inevitable. It's the best way for marketing for you.
Oh my God, no, never. But I can tell you, our team use Twitch every Tuesday. So if you want to see the behind the screens, our designers are every Tuesday behind the screens, real time twitching, and it's super fun to watch if you want to know more about digital fashion and our creative process. And if you ever want a co-host, I would love to do a gig, but as a full-time job, I'm not signing up for that. No.
I love you. So thank you very much, Adriana. It's been extremely interesting, extremely fascinating. I've learned a lot from our discussion about this. I'm not the fashion guy. I'm a man. So it's excellent to talk to the blockchain ladies. I love talking to the blockchain ladies. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening and watching to the ENVELOP Podcast. It is supported by the Nifty Protocol and DAO ENVELOP. Adriana Hoppenbrouwer-Pereira and Eugene Crypto MC were with you. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell button for not missing the future episodes, and join CDC Night event and listen to Adriana, to brilliant speakers. I will be moderating there with Martin Rungard and so on and so forth. It's been an extremely interesting place for learning what's going on in NFT, blockchain gaming, and Metaverse space. So all the links are written below. See you on the CDC. Thank you very much, Adriana. Bye-bye. See you in the next episodes of the ENVELOP Podcast. Bye-bye.
Awesome.